Islam Moors. Sunrise and do the prayer. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through His holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Islam. To be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical, agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure, peace. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their cardon button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Drew Ali, and that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has made, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. So yesterday they had their little yesterday they had their they had their Man March or whatever. And it was put on by the Zulu Shabazz. Let's put the title up here. Attorney Zulu Shabazz. And we noticed that we had the RV Bay haters together. Dolo, King of the Moors, and Taharka. And they're supposed to be, doing something eventually, because of, they're doing their stuff. Now, we heard about this march thing, and it was what they say, a call for unity, so that all the different groups of the whoever community or whatever like that could come together or whatever. And Taharka Bay was one of the headlining Moors at this thing. Mm-hmm. What the part of it that we're against is that it was called a black thing. Right, like it was a black thing. It wasn't like a adjective. Bring everybody thing, right? It was a black thing. And these Moors decided to go to this thing. So, peace to Brother Baba TV, who when we debated Ali Muhammad, he came from New York to record it for Sa Nefer. But they didn't tell him that they got canceled or whatever. So this is their boy, mind you, right? So their boy is over at the lecture spot where the lecture was supposed to happen. They got canceled, waiting, right? And then we were here at the temple and we were doing our own thing with regard to the thing. So one of the brothers, Brother Nefertem Bey, that was one of the initial Moors when we first started with this. He's in the black arena physically, but mentally he's on what we're on. Right. So he told the brother, yeah, this is where we're at or whatever. So the brother came through, he filmed the stuff or whatever. So we just want to big up Baba TV because he's one of the people that was at the thing that recorded this so-called Million Man whatever. So no, it was in DC. The regular spot, and as we know, when we talk about this idea, ever since '95, they're them doing this thing of Million Man March, making sure, get all the brothers and sisters out there and whatever from all over the country, make rental companies rich that are European, make hotels rich that are European, make all these whatever businesses. You gotta go, you wear those ones out, walking all over the place, right? You gotta go buy some European shoes again, you know what I mean? And they have this fascination of, they're not doing this to themselves. The European is the one who's the enemy, who's doing whatever to them. So today we're just gonna deal with is it denationalization of Moors, or is it racism towards blacks by using, their Million Man March head guy, attorney Zulu Shabazz. No, you're just an attorney too. Oh yeah.
He's a Moor?
Well, he says he's a Moor. He says he honors Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff.
So you're asking if this Million Man March was denationalizing us or racist?
Or is it a race game? Right?
Well,
if you got some thoughts, you can throw those out.
If he's a Moor, he denationalized us.
The proper persona in one proper person.
And then flip the page.
It is a rule in pleading that pleas to be the jurisdiction of the court must be pleaded in proper persona, because if pleaded by attorney, they admit the jurisdiction as the attorney is an officer of the court. and he is presumed to plead after having obtained leave, which is the jurisdiction.
Right. So our main argument, anytime dealing with Moors, is that these people don't have jurisdiction, right? Because they are colonists, Europeans, whatever. They don't really have jurisdiction here. They might have jurisdiction in European countries to give people orders or whatever, but here they don't. The only way that they have jurisdiction here is through somebody having an attorney, right? And then once the individual has an attorney, they admit the jurisdiction of whoever they're claiming doesn't have jurisdiction or is the devil or whatever like that. So let's just say the devil, right? So the devil knows that Washington, D.C. was built by a Moor. Matter of fact, they called the Moor and said, you know, we want you to build this stuff because you're the best out here. So the Moor did the Washington, D.C. thing. The devil then used Washington, D.C., specifically Washington Mall, where they go have all these black whatever stuff, as a place to transport or do their slavery commerce. Like this is a place that the masters used to go, bring the slaves with them or whatever like that, auction them off.
So like the bill at
that spot.
Like bill them in like that one there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, auction. Right? Now these individuals now, you know, 95 they did it, a couple, you know, 2000 whatever they did it, and then they did another one, but this one's not connected to Farrakhan and all of that. This is a whole
So this
new,
is not even the Nation of Islam.
yeah, this is not Nation of Islam or nothing. This is a whole new jurisdiction of people now that, you know, like how Pharaoh talks, forget the old leaders and need the new guys now. The new guys are here to do something. All right, so this is the next level down from Farrakhan and those people who were doing this, right? So, like we said, they have the headliner, the one who's putting this on, is an attorney. Speaking on behalf of all these people, including Moors, who they know that they're Moors, but they went in the jurisdiction that has given leave.
So,
oh yeah, get it out, yo, get it out. Don't worry.
I'm trying to say it without cursing. Man, there's traders everywhere.
Traders everywhere, right? Traders everywhere. And again, it's not a thing of it's not like we're there's a lot more. Say your boys here. What's good, boy? So remember, like these are individuals who are supposed to be for the uplifting of the people. They're supposed to be for unity with everybody. The whole reason that they're doing this is to get everybody to come on down so we can have some unity, right? Now again, if the individual who's calling this
attorney
is an attorney, right? He has bar card and all that stuff. He's an attorney. He goes and, you know, provides his service to the quote unquote black community.
Like that's his occupation.
Yeah, this is what he does. He's an attorney. Yeah. He's an attorney. Right? No, well, again, he's not a proclaimed Moor.
Okay.
He's a Moor from the perspective of he knows about the Moors. He knows about Noble Drew Ali. He knows about the connection between Nation of Islam and Noble Drew Ali. He knows the connection between Elijah Muhammad and Noble Drew Ali, Nation of Islam, Moor Science Temple. He knows all that.
I have one question.
But
why are they so fearful of just coming out, like just liberating the people? What is so scary about liberating your brother?
When you how we look at it is that the popularity is going to diminish. Because
Oh,
when you start talking about nationality and improper persona and things like that, now you're dealing with no Juali. You're not dealing with Zulu Shabazz anymore.
Yeah,
He becomes unimportant.
so
Farrakhan becomes unimportant.
because that's all about self-gain, right?
Right.
Self-gain.
Right. Because remember, being that he's attorney, you can probably look see if this is in their pro bono.
Pro bono.
Being that he's an attorney, he doesn't have to charge really. Right? Because, you know, being that he went through the stuff, he knows the law. He's supposed to know the law.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know that our people are incompetent,
Mm-hmm.
I mean they don't know the law, and then you also know that they're broke because all they do is put finance to BS. They never put finance to anything that's really lucrative to liberation of the people. Then they probably have mental issues that you need to work with them a little bit better than just, you know, well, I'm an attorney, so you should hire me because I'm the #1 black attorney guy out here. Everybody knows me, so hire me. Right? Now we don't know because we don't hire attorneys. So we don't know really what goes on in that realm as far as he's concerned. But
Some more recently suggested that I should get an attorney to sign off my letters, like with the ticket thing, sending it to the court, notarizing it. He says I should get an attorney to look over it. The documents you sent me to look over it. Send it. You see how I have to send it in, then they have to file it or whatnot? I don't know. He says I should get a lawyer for that.
No.
I'm like,
now think about it like this. Look, think about it like this too. Anything that's witnessed, sealed, or whatever is more than likely just a written document, right? Anybody can prepare it, whatever, right? When you wanted your stuff witnessed or whatever, how do you do that?
I mean, the sign for what?
Yeah, the declaration, the declaration. And,
you need 2 witnesses.
Yeah.
And you have to sign it in your title.
Right.
All rights reserved.
Right.
So, now, need an attorney.
I know, right? That's what I told her.
So what caused you to get witnesses opposed to letting an attorney be your witness?
And I know what an attorney is.
Okay.
But just
That's what he told me after that. I said, well, at my class, we don't need an attorney because I represent myself and, you know, my grand chief and the guys there are my witness. He said, oh yeah, because that'll be putting me back into their jurisdiction. So I'm like, so why would you tell me that?
Why would they even make the suggestion? Right? Why would they make the suggestion?
But when you're filing it, you just have to submit it to the clerk anyway, right? So even then, but I feel like the clerk was still trying to set you up to get back in the jurisdiction. Yeah,
well, I mean, and then even the other part with that is, you know, from a process perspective of dealing with them, that makes sense because the attorney's their boy. So if the attorney witnesses the stuff, then that means obviously they are game with whatever you have in the paper, or the attorney would just say, "No, I don't want nothing to do with this." Right. So from that perspective, it kind of makes sense to let them do it, but it's not something that especially if you have Moors around you that could witness your stuff. You're a member of a temple who has a seal. The same thing you're going to a lawyer to get, because really all you're doing is get the seal. It's not even about the signature or whatever. It's about having the seal on the paper so that whoever sees it can say, "Oh wow, they sealed this! Oh my gosh, they sealed! Oh yeah, okay. So now we whatever, right?" But it's not something that's needed. And again, I'm not gonna say that it was, the more was dirty or whatever like that, trying to, say you should do it. But, it's kind of funny that a moral would say,
why keep
go get an attorney?
Back to the same jurisdiction.
Yeah.
That's the thing I get is like, if you have kids, they're gonna have to live in the same situation.
Right.
And their kids are gonna have to have the same situation again. Like you keep putting your family back into slavery.
Right.
And I wanna, how do I say this nice? Like are they so afraid to die?
Yeah, it could be
Is
that.
that it?
You can do that.
I ain't dying. I'm not scared of that.
Because
I know it's coming, but you know,
Yeah.
my brother and my siblings ain't gonna live good, and I know if I have kids, that's kind of why I'm afraid to bring kids in this world. Because like, if they gotta live like this,
what's the sense, right? Oh yeah, we say children instead.
Oh, yeah,
I
children.
was gonna correct you. I just
My bad.
myself.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. So the
Oh, you said pro bono, right?
yeah,
It's for good and ill, for advantage and deterrent.
for good and ill, for advantage,
And deterrent.
right? So anybody who's with this title, they should be doing things based on pro bono,
Good for the court, but ill for you.
right? Or even the other way, good for you because you're not paying.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's supposed to work in your favor to make sure that, these people are following the Constitution or whatever. They're not doing no deny you due process, right? If they're quote unquote a lawyer, attorney, or whatever like that, they should know a law enough that they should be telling you in propria persona. You don't want me to represent you. But if I represent you, then you're under the jurisdiction of the devil. Why would they want you under the jurisdiction of the devil, but then go to Washington Mall or whatever, and they got all these thousands of people there, and they have a officer of the court telling them that certain people are the devil and all that stuff when he's directly in bed with the devil, just because he has this.
Taraka Bay. It's upsetting because I see a couple of his videos.
Yeah.
Sahaka, sorry about that. I see a couple of his videos too. He's a temple boy, right?
Mm.
Why?
Not only a temple Moor, he's a divine minister and a grand chief. Add that on to temple Moor.
Wow. Okay.
He's not just a Moor in the temple.
Yeah.
He's a grand chief.
Someone
And a divine minister.
Nah, okay.
He just went into the bar himself, enjoy some liquor, and more in the morning.
It's funny you say that too, because we always make jokes about what's in this cup that he has when he's doing his classes or whatever. Yeah, when he's doing his class, he always has this cup.
Yeah,
the red cup or this blue cup.
Undercover alcoholic.
Undercover, yo. Right? Is how they do. So let's just see what's good here.
Millionaire March was that.
Assalamu alaikum.
BC.
Hotel. And black laws for all black people. Giving honor to God, I bear witness that regardless to land, label, or language, I bear witness that there is but one God. I give credit to God for all the prophets. But I, as a black man inside of the pits and hells of North America, I say that God has come to us. I thank God for Sister Queen Harriet Tubman. I thank God for one of my favorite preachers, Reverend Nat Turner. I thank God for the man that gave us the red, the black, and the green, and who taught us one God, one aim, and one destiny. The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I thank God here for the messenger of Allah, one of the greatest black men of all time, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I thank God for a man he trained, the fiery prophet of black nationalism, to Malcolm X. I thank God for Dr. King. I thank God for Huey Newton. I thank God for Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture. I thank God for all of those who lost their lives in the Middle Passage. I thank God for every one of them that have come amongst us. But as I stand here before you in front of the White House, he taught me it's called the White House because it's for white folks. I'm talking about Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Now, somebody who honors Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff. It's kind of funny that you go with Dr. King, Marcus, Elijah. You talk about people who died in the Middle Passage or whatever like that. You're talking about Khalid Muhammad. You never mentioned Noble Drew Ali.
I know, that's so weird, eh? I was waiting for him to say it.
That's what I was waiting for. I thought it was actually going to say it. Just because of the talk. I didn't even watch this yet. I really thought he was going to say it. Just right? He could have did a stumble at least. He could have did a stumble at least.
They're trying to hide him, man.
Noble Drew.
If it comes out, people find out who he is. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
That's why I believe it, because it's true. Like when someone is superior and other people come after them, everyone always tries to like wipe them out or like smudge them out or whatever you call it. Yeah. They never want to disclose who the person is that really taught them everything.
Yeah.
But didn't who was it? Muhammad? Didn't one of them mention Noble Drew Ali? Like, when they were alive?
Yeah.
I just don't know
Farrakhan did.
Oh, really?
Elijah Muhammad was.
Khalid Muhammad did.
But he made note of the White House.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said the White House is only for white people like Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
They read this right here.
No, I think he was quoting. He was quoting Khalid because Khalid had these speeches where he would just talk BS about the White House and the whole idea of it being called white is why it's for white people, right?
Meaning what?
Meaning Europeans.
Oh.
Yeah, like they're not talking from the free white person perspective. They're talking from Negro, black, colored, black people,
After
white
he
people,
mentioned the
crayon
Black
people.
Laws Dictionary and all that stuff.
But you would think. No, well, remember, he's not talking about that. He's talking about like laws made for black people. He's not talking about black's law. But again, these are little subtleties that Negroes are not going to realize that he's putting out there in order to get Moors to be on the stuff. Because you tell them more black's law, they know Moors thinking black people with laws that back them. Moors gonna think that you're talking about that book right there, just like what the Moors thought he's talking about this book.
Yeah, when he was talking.
Yeah, when he was talking.
Folks, I'm like,
he's talking about.
That's what I'm thinking about. Okay.
He's talking about blacks. He's talking about blacks having laws. The only laws blacks have are Negro Acts and Christian black codes. That's the only laws that apply to them if somebody's saying, and remember, we're talking about a 30 guy. So he already knows about Civil Rights Act, Christian black codes, all that stuff. He knows about all that. Right? Speaking from the perspective of only white people in the White House and all that stuff. The White House originally was sandstone.
Is that before they burnt it down? Or is it?
Before they burnt it down, it was sandstone. It wasn't even white. So just like we say with law, that's colorable language. Because you can't say White House without talking about, the war, and then it was originally sandstone, you know what I mean? And then they painted it white after the fact. Because you can't have the burn marks on the building or whatever like that, talking about this is the office of the presidency. You're gonna have to refurbish the building.
That's the one thing I actually think I paid attention to in like when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
I went to Catholic school, right? And it's one of the few things I remember. 1812, they went to war, they burned down the White House. I'm like, okay, we did something. All right,
Yeah.
we were born over here.
Right. Right. Okay.
Okay, when he said North America,
Yeah.
this is in Washington D.C., right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was talking. That's why I thought he was talking to us, because normally they just mention America.
Yeah, they just mentioned, right.
So I was kind of
Yeah. The pits and hells of North America. If North America is such pits and hells, why stay? Why make it a mission to do your stuff here? Wake up all these people here in the pits and hells of North America to stay here, right? So all these little things, you know, and we ain't but 2 minutes into the whatever. It's about 30 minutes. You already realize that their stuff is flawed already. You already realize that they're playing everybody who went there. And, you know, the fact that, you know, the reason why we're even doing this is because we know Moors went. When this is a black thing. Like, this is not a thing where nationality is not come out of this. People proclaiming their nationality is not going to come out of this. You know, already, he mentioned all the people. He didn't even bring up no Draw-Lee's name or whatever like that. Right? But, you know, we'll carry on.
I won't be long, but I must be strong. And we have come here at the head of the snake, the United Snakes of America. I'm right here at the head of the snake. Don't get scared on me now. I done fought too hard, too long to come up here and punk out on this message tonight. I didn't come to lighten up, I come to tighten up. Up here outside of this White House, which is the head of wickedness and is the head of evil anywhere on the face of the planet Earth. It come out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Make no mistake about it. This is the capital of wickedness all over the planet Earth.
Also, the District of Columbia, where they're saying they're acting, that's the head of the United Snakes and all this type of stuff. They're subordinate to the popes of Rome. Now, again, we're going back to the same thing, that this is attorney guy. But if attorney guy gets a license from people who the Pope said, you don't be listening to these people.
Yep, he did say that. He actually put it like he released the form telling all the people in the bar.
Yeah, motu proprio. Yeah. That don't even listen to people in the bar. They don't got licenses. They don't have a license. If they say, I'm a lawyer, got a license, they're probably playing it, says the Pope. Who's the head of the, who's the real head of the stuff? So if they're going to talk about the head of all this corruption and all that stuff is a corporation, and not talk about the CEO and all these people. Remember, he's talking about corporation. He's talking about, you know, he's at the address of the head of the whatever. How come he's not mentioning any of the people who are in those seats?
Well, touch on that. My cousin was watching the news, and it was news that was overseas, not the East, and it was I think it was called Algiers TV or something.
Algiers, yeah. Al Jazeera?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And she's noticing that
They go in.
her eyes were like wide open now,
Yeah.
on the information. She was noticing that they had a meeting. She's noticed that there was a meeting with all the heads of state in all the countries, you know, or the corporations, the corporate heads of state, right? And the Queen held a meeting, and she was making an announcement to all the heads, but not once did she, my cousin mentioned that Not once did she mention like country or anything.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "I hope we can continue doing business, and I can continue with our friendship." But not once did she mention country to like any of the people that were there, like Trudeau, Trump, all those people.
Yeah.
But it never shows. It never showed on this side though that the Queen was addressing all these people.
Right. Yeah.
But they're showing us this illusion of Trump this and Trump that.
Right.
But they're not showing us that part with the Queen addressing them and talking about we hope we can continue business.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with country.
Countries or cities or whatever like that. They're straight saying business.
Business.
Yeah. Right.
Corporation stuff.
Yep.
That's messed up.
Right. And again, like you have an individual who they have bar card. So it's not like they don't know this info that we're talking about. He knows all this. Right? I don't know what he talked about in the thing. We'll find out what he talked about. But we know that they ain't talking about none of this stuff. Right? They're going to go with their denationalization campaign that now you know also too that because Moors went, it's now sanctioned now. Now it's okay now to talk like this because Moors are here. And if Moors are there, and this guy is all about black and United Snakes of America and all that, and Moors are there, then Moors are backing this behavior. Certain Moors, let me not say Moors are there. Certain Moors are there, backing the behavior that it's all right if you call yourself black. It's all right if you say United States of America is the devil and whatever like that without naming the party the devil. Right? Any other comments before we continue?
We'll get to this devil Donald Trump in a minute. Because I don't just want you to focus on Trump. Trump is the latest devil in a line of devils that have occupied this house behind us. It started off with old George Washington. Yeah, the founding father of America, old George Washington. A slave owner, a raper of black women, a killer of Indians, right here from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Thomas Jefferson, a raper of black women. Thomas Jefferson, oh, no good slave owner. Thomas Jefferson has the blood of black people on his hands. Thomas Jefferson has the DNA of the rape of black women on his record. All coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The head of the snake, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The latest beast in a long line of beasts, old toupee wearing, ugly face Donald Trump. I mean, he needs to be charged with terrorism just by looking at his damn face every night. Am I right? Black power? Black power. Now come on, you take some of my backbone, I'm gonna give my backbone into your backbone. I ain't come all the way here to Pennsylvania Avenue and get out here in front of Homeland Security, the FBI, and all these damn cameras out here.
Right, like that's a big deal that he's on, the lawn of the president's whatever, and he's talking all this BS. Trump talking BS about Trump, talking BS about United States or whatever like that. They know that he's a fraud. That's why it ain't no big deal that they don't come tackle him off the stage or whatever. He's not no threat of anything. Keep talking this connotative language to people. Knows that that's not leading them anywhere, right? They already know that he's an officer of the court, so he works for them. The same beast of the head, stuff like that he's talking about. He works for them people. And again, more is back in this behavior. More is putting their energy toward supporting this stuff right here. That he's gonna, even in the intro, he's gonna, Assalamu alaikum and Hotep and Black Power and Islam or nothing like that. He went on the Moorish channel and all that. He went on the Moorish channel to go promote this, and he didn't give the Moors of Islam, and Moors are there repping that.
That's not the ones who went.
Right? And again, that speaks volumes about the ones who went. The ones who took the position of, yeah, we're going to put some energy behind what they're doing. Try to assist them to get, and then when we go there, we're going to go with our Moorish agenda and wake up people to birth. You're not waking up people talking about yelling Black Power top of their lungs. You're not waking them up about nothing about birthrights. It ain't happening. Especially in a venue that is not a Moorish venue, where you get to say your piece, or where the individuals who are putting it on back you, even though they might be saying they're Black, they're African, they're whatever, right? You know, it's like the people who we know here, who in class. Yo. Yeah, we're live right now. Missing it. No, you're missing it. We're there. Yeah, Islam. Islam to Brother Hassan. All the Moors, make sure you go get their astrology work done. But yeah, so once we have people who say, you know, honors to Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff, and then later on they're not really repping for Noble Drew Ali, or, you know, they're half-assing with the whole Moorish concept, you know what I mean, not really saying what it is or whatever. Automatically, you know that they're down for the denationalization. Their purpose is mass denationalization of our people. Have them yell Black Power, have them talk about snakes are doing something to them, and corporations are doing something to them. Never mention the parties. If they do mention the party, they're not talking from a perspective of how do we deal with the party. They're talking BS. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like more than say, okay, well, you got a problem with Donald Trump, write him a writ or something. You don't go to no goddamn march yelling, you know, F Trump, or wear F Trump t-shirt, so that means that, you know, he's getting the message. Right? Yeah, just hit him up. Just leave all your stuff on Twitter, you know, on his Twitter, and then he's gonna read the message. Oh my God, the Black guys are mad at me. I'm gonna do something or whatever. Right? Yes. Oh yeah, and we got sandwiches. If anybody wants to get the food thing on, there's water, juice back there. Two and a drink for $7. Well, one sandwich for $3.
And everything is going on out here. There is no God but God. There is none on the planet worthy of worship but God. There is none whom we Black people and any people of the oppressed should fear. We should bow down to God and God alone. And we have to stand up for truth alone. I don't care if it's 1,000,000, 10,000, or a damn 100. I'm on the side of truth. Everybody has compromised this struggle. Everybody has cut some kind of slick deal. Everybody has cut out or sold out or been bought out on some kind of behalf, but not us. Black Power, a snake. We call it the United Snakes of America. One of the early United States flags had a snake emblem. And it said, don't tread on me. Don't tread on me. The head of imperialism, the head of colonialism, and damn it, the head of Zionism. Right up here, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Here's the headquarters of your misery. Huh? This is the source of your problem. You all right?
Right. Now also too, keep in mind that because
There's no God but God.
right, they're going to talk about the source of the problem, but never, never, ever but they talk about the sorcery that creates the problem, that they're identifying as the source. Right? And again, the sorcery is connotative linguistics, which he's playing on them the whole time. Like they're getting the sorcery on them, sitting there thinking that, oh, he's on the side of truth and all that stuff because he's up there, he's yelling black power at the top of his lungs. And missing the fact that they're being sorcered on. That if somebody says that they're attorney, they're right under a magi, which would be the judge.
So you're under his jurisdiction.
Magistrate. And remember, we're dealing with the individual who, once you hire them, you're in the jurisdiction. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about, you know, do the snakes have jurisdiction over all these people? Oh, yeah, they got jurisdiction over them. Right? And then that's because the attorney. Secondary to that, if we go and we take a tally of all those people, we guarantee 90% of those people got a European name. Which puts them under jurisdiction again on a different level now. Because they're under the jurisdiction because the attorney's leading them, then they're under jurisdiction because they got a European name.
You know, the funny thing about it is that every time you click on CNN, they kill, let's say, one of ours. They always say, you know, when they have someone on the news, they'll say, well, we look back at the Dred Scott case.
Yep.
Dred Scott case.
Always.
And you know, the fact is that they keep telling you, they're telling you.
Yep.
If you go back and you actually read it, he's telling you he was in error.
Yep, actually.
Kept using the wrong name. And it's crazy.
Well, they always tell you, they have to cover themselves, right? Yeah, watch that.
Yep. Right. Islam just Sister Khalifa, who got us our constitution books and fascinating facts about. Yeah, there should be a good one. So we go into right. So a fascinating fact, just to put this out there, page 25, interesting page number, but we're just saying. The Constitution does not set forth requirements for the right to vote. As a result, at the outset of the Union, only male property owners could vote. African Americans were not considered citizens.
But they see that as a negative.
Right? They see that as, we want to be part, how come you're not in part? You guys are racist because you don't want us to be part of whatever. No, you don't. You can't be part because you're not European. Unions for European. You're not European, can't be part. Nothing personal. Can't be European tomorrow to be part. But you know, if you have a European name, then they can siphon your energy and claim that you're part by giving you a right to vote.
So when you're voting, let's say, a European name, well, you'll be representing someone who's actually, let's say, of the name you're using.
Right.
and that person, you put that vote down. For them, they don't even care because
yeah, I mean, they're not counting the vote anyway. Just like with Jeb Bush in Florida, they're not counting no vote. The black guys vote, it's not counted. They think it's because they checked the thing that is counted. They're not counted. They throw those votes in the garbage. They already know who won because we already know that it's the electoral college that who sets it. They know the game that people go to the stuff, go to the ballot and all that stuff, right stuff, that's not really going on. And the only real vote that you would be voting is if it was Republican form, which we already know that this is just democracy, then they're not really dealing with constitutional anything.
So like you said, even with the Jeb Bush thing, they did it as they throwing
the
votes into the so that's when was it Bob Dole? Yeah,
yeah. Right. Dole apple juice. Yeah.
That goes back to the brother I came from Roman East. They wanted to be he's wondering why they're calling why he couldn't be black or whatever. Right? White status.
Sorry, say that again.
The brother that came from the East.
Yeah.
He had the white status.
Right.
Black.
Yeah.
I was wondering why they're like, oh,
you're it doesn't apply to you. Yeah. Doesn't apply to you.
It's not no color thing,
Right. And even on the status perspective, they can be a citizen, but they're gonna have to naturalize.
Yeah.
Which once they naturalize, they lose their nationality, because now you're claiming that you want to be done with the corpse.
I was told that there's an application that you can fill out in the court and change your status from black to white.
Probably,
some guy showed it to me.
But if they're doing it, it's not really.
Yeah, you're still under there.
You're still under them. It's just like when they say authenticate birth certificate.
Yeah, he said he authenticated his birth certificate.
Right, but is it his? Is it yours if you didn't create it?
He says he's executive whatever over.
Yeah. If he didn't create it, then it's not his. And as soon as he says mine,
yeah, because I told
he's
him
going into jurisdiction again, because now you're saying that this fraudulent instrument is yours. Instead of calling it a fraudulent instrument and saying, no, we don't want us in there. Right?
We gotta make up our own, like travel.
Because I told him my son, he has his own. I have my own birth certificate, and I have one for my son.
Yeah.
And it's obviously he has a straw, but the one that I have is I made it.
Right.
It's mine.
Right.
It's his.
Yeah.
It's mine. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you tell me to authenticate it. It's like, why? I already did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sealed it.
And that's the where our people need to be going. They need to start handling their own affairs, opposed to other people handling their affairs. Who, again, once we start realizing certain people start talking, you check their background. It's like when they say, when they talk BS about, Barack did this, he didn't do nothing for our people and all that stuff. He was a constitutional lawyer. So they could talk all the BS they want about him. His foundation is constitutional enforcement.
That's how I used to think until I found out about this movement and what he did in Egypt.
Yeah.
It's like I had to think about everything. I said after that.
You know what I mean? Like why as a quote unquote president of United Snakes of whatever, right? You're gonna go to Egypt, you're gonna make big speech or whatever like that, talking about the connection that his quote unquote government has with Islam. Then at the same time, his wife's in the Alhambra with the children or whatever like that, right? All the mothers went to, right? But regardless of how old they're still mothers, right? All the mothers went to Egypt. And then they met back here. And then did the double doors and coming out the doors and stuff like that, walking and all that, right?
Dangerous.
You're jumpy, boy. You're jumpy. You're jumpy.
You're not fucking now.
You're jumpy.
It's the celestial alignment.
Yep. It's good. Good, yo?
We did it.
Like, what just happened?
Let's look at America today. Let's look at how backwards America is. America, who says that she is the most progressive nation in terms of human rights. America, who lectures nations all over the earth, lectures countries in foreign jurisdictions and foreign courts, lectures other nations on human rights, lectures other leaders on democracy, and claims to be the standard for decency and democracy around the planet. Let me ask you this. Is America the leading protector of human rights on this planet? Or is America the leading violator of human rights on this planet? A snake is something that looked like you could touch it. A snake is looking like something maybe you could pet it. But you put your hand close enough, that snake gonna bite you. A snake is a slithering animal. A snake is a deceitful animal. A snake looks like it's going one way and going the other way. Khalid Muhammad taught me about the United Snakes of America. Look at America today. Afraid of the rise of black people.
Right? Deliberately, now he's not only denationalizing the people, he's now denationalizing the nation. He's now taking a Aboriginal and indigenous jurisdiction and making it something demonic to people who don't know better. Right? You got thinking there?
I got American. It doesn't give me American. Like it gives me American. But it doesn't give me
let's see what American said.
American, America or so. Well, an American, Indian or America or so, or South America, a native or inhabitant of North America or South America, a citizen of the U.S. American English, American or relating to America, or relating to the U.S. or its possessions of original territories. Doesn't give me American though.
So we know that America is a continent, and for them to talk like a continent is doing something, a continent is the leading violator of human rights.
A landmass.
A landmass is violating people's rights. Right? Remember, this is the attorney guy, who you should know America is a continent, not a country. You know that America is a continent, not a country. You should know that the country is not a country, it's a corporation. How about delivering that message to these people? How about using this platform to let the people know that, you know what? We've been playing all this time, thinking that it's a country that's against us. It's actually Europeans. Europeans who colonized indigenous people's land.
Yeah.
Right? You don't talk about Indians and stuff like that. And don't talk about, well, we don't know where the people are at. That's why we say Indian, and that's why we say black and all that. Well,
you know, stand if they're talking that then,
right? And then remember that they're riding off of the energy of their past masters who taught them BS. That this is, again, the snakes of North America and all that stuff is what's violating people. Oh yeah, and they give honors to Khalid Muhammad because he said this and he said that. Well, Khalid Muhammad also said that he's a Moor. Khalid Muhammad also said that the world is known as Asia. Khalid Muhammad said a lot of things. More in the end of his time that meant something than all the stuff that he said before that. And 80% of the stuff that he said before that was some emotional BS. Only relevant stuff he said was at that meeting of the masters, and where everybody was there. Not just him was there doing a lecture, everybody was there. All the conscious community, whoever was there, all the heads at that time, who were the people that everybody go to the lecture, buy their DVDs or whatever like that, they were there. And he put it all on the record for them. Then they say that they honor him. But then when you check them today, they're like, well, how come you guys are not talking how the guy who you guys rep so hard talked?
That's why nobody takes us seriously.
That's why nobody takes Black people serious. No matter how much of them gather in Washington, they won't be taken serious. No matter how many of their leaders come out and, you know, say they're doing this, doing that, they're trying to help their people or whatever like that, ain't nobody taking it serious. Because these people are straight playing them, right? Willingly playing them. And then the people, because of their ignorance, that we know ignorance of law is no excuse, so they can't even complain that these guys are playing them. Because they chose to hear these people's message that, oh yeah, come on down to the whatever. And then they're going down there to go hear this stuff. 2018, you guys yelling Black Power still?
That's like the Jackson guy, Bobblehead. What's his name? Bobblehead. Jackson.
These people should be like convicted, to be honest. Like, it's about time. People have been enslaved for way too long. Like, oh my God, it's really nauseous.
But it's not going to be some European that convicts them.
Like when Jesse Jackson comes out in marches and whatnot, all the people are like, you know, he's down there, you know, you gotta see what he's saying, he's down there, he's the guy, you know, he's gonna get us out of our
He's the one.
Cornell West, another one.
Yeah.
Brother Fly, Umar.
Right? Playing their little game.
Yeah, a lot of them, man.
Angry at the existence of Black people, Donald Trump and his Confederate white ring racist followers, in fear of a Black country, in fear of a Black planet, in fear of the genetic power of the Black man who have the power to drive them from the face of the planet Earth. White people in America, afraid of the rise of Blacks. Yes, sir. White people in America, all of you who come to visit this White House, I don't care what race you are, America has gone backwards. America has elected an outright bigot and put him in office. According to all of your polls, Black and white, you say that 60% of the American public say that Donald Trump is a racist. Maybe we're wrong.
Remember, lawyer guy. See, racist is up in there. Since they like to claim these people are racist against them, lawyer guys up there. And then you have, again, we have people in chats and making comments on videos and stuff like that that have a stateless position. They're talking like they know something. They're talking about, well, you know, if a Black man stabs a white man, then Black man just did them a favor by getting rid of the white man. And these people don't understand yet that their biggest enemy is their own, who's been playing them for generations after generation after generation after generation, playing them out of their birthright, playing them out of their heritage, playing them out of their rights, playing them out of everything under the guise of liberate our people, assist our people, help our people, when this is not what's going on, right? it's not a secret that, quote unquote, Trump is a racist. Not no secret. That's not no news. The fact that he holds the office has nothing to do with he's racist. The reason why he's holding the office is because he's the best individual to take care of a bankrupt corporation, because all his stuff's bankrupt.
Yeah, right.
Who else? Like, why else would they bring him in? Oh, because he's racist and America's racist and they want a racist president. Oh no, they want somebody who knows about bankruptcy to be there, because the United States is a bankrupt corporation.
Okay,
So because they're bankrupt.
Okay, so race and ethical stock, a great division of mankind having in common certain distinguishing.
A great what of mankind?
A great division of mankind having in common certain distinguishing physical peculiarities constituting comprehensive class appearing to be derived from a distinct primitive source.
Right? A great division of what? Mankind, is it?
Yeah.
Of mankind. That's what race is.
And when you look up where it says, the first thing it says ethnical stock, right? But when you look up stock here, it's saying goods and wares of a merchant or tradesman.
Ethical stock. So race has to do with ethical stock. Ethnical stock. And then stock has to do with what?
Goods, pretty much commerce, goods and wares for a merchant or tradesman.
Goods,
Sale and traffic.
Traffic.
So commerce.
I.e. commerce. Which again lets you know, because this lawyer guy talking. The lawyer guy talking all this BS, pushing division, making the people stop by talking like this, right? Because remember, because he's an attorney, he's an officer of the court. Being that he's an officer of the court, he works for the court, not the people. Working for the court, he has an obligation to make sure that the stock stays stock. Once the stock start not wanting to be stocked, he has no job anymore. He doesn't have this pull to go to quote unquote Washington D.C. and get the podium, the mics, the speakers, all that stuff. They never brought that stuff there. They're going there and that stuff's there for them. Right? They're not they went to the quote unquote city of Washington, right? So go get a permit from the same snakes of whatever. Now why would you go to the snakes of whatever to go get a permit? To go have your march or whatever. Like if you're really black power and all that stuff, you're not waiting for them people to give you no permit. You're gonna go out there, whatever day it is, and if highwaymen come, whatever like that, you deal with that. Because it's supposed to be black power. Why would you go to the same devil? Why would you go to the same snake-headed beast to go get a permit to go do some march? To tell these people about, oh yeah, the snake-headed beast and these guys are the devil and all that stuff. You just went to them for a permit. How come you weren't talking that BS when you put out the permit for them? Playing people. Right? And again, we're putting it out there.
So that's why Marcus Garvey, they did him this way. Prophet Bourgeoisie, Malcolm X, they're all pushing nationality.
Once they start talking about nationality, get these people out of the way. Because if they have influence, they're going to wake these people up out here, who are our stock. And as soon as they stop being stock, now we don't have jurisdiction. Now we don't have votes. Now we don't have workers. Now we don't have all the things that we need to keep our corporation going like it's a government.
No, sir. Maybe it's Gallup or CNN made a mistake. No, sir. No, sir. On the charges of racism, how do you find Donald Trump? Yes, sir. What kind of jury is this? On the charges of racism, how do you find Donald Trump? How do you find him? Let's look at this bigoted. I'll get to him. I gotta save all my names. Let me just mosey along for a little while.
You said you had racism?
Yeah, racism. It's now a theory that a race determines human traits and capacities.
A theory. These guys have all these people talking race or whatever, talking black, white. This guy did something, somebody's a bigot, KKK, whatever like that. It's all based on theory. Now, if he's an attorney, he should be dealing with facts. Like, you should be dealing with facts if you're an attorney. But if you go to court, you know, theory is not getting the guy off murder charge. You're gonna come, you're gonna present your facts. Whoever else is gonna present their facts, and then, you know, hopefully there's a jury there, right? Which proves that it's a real court. So now that way you know that something's gonna go down. But that, when you talk about theory, again, keeping the people in a docile, passive, you know, pray and just wait till something happens. If something's gonna happen eventually. You know, they marched in '95. 20 years later, they're still marching for stuff. You're still going and meeting this guys at podiums who work for these people.
It sounds like sheep and herd just there right now.
Yeah,
like, you know,
straight sheep.
Is how it's like, how do you find Donald Trump for whatever racism? They're like all like just guilty.
Yeah, guilty.
But you know, don't say you have to be a jury, you have to be on your peers.
Right.
But none of them are Donald Trump's peers.
Right. But again, you know, check their last name, they're his peers. Matter of fact, they're probably his property.
Yeah.
Right? They're his stock. If they're talking race, right? They're his stock.
Hence why he doesn't even need to be moved by all of this.
Why would it even matter to him that some black guys are on the lawn talking BS?
People need to be changed.
Right, and again, going right back to what the lessons are. That the only way beings are going to change is if their mind is changed. If their mind is, oh yeah, we're going to go to this thing, listen to this guy talk some BS. And clap and yell and scream. He says scream, we say oh. He says ho, we say ho.
It's like Thundercats.
Even in terms of literature too, right? It says, you know, as we know, in order to change people, you got to change literature.
Got to change their literature.
So it's like if they're reading a bunch of connotative meanings in a book, then how are they going to get the actual denotative meaning, right?
Yeah.
They're just going to forever just be, it's like a matrix.
Yeah. Yeah. Just going around. Yep. They're just around the rim of the whirlpool.
Connotative.
Just at the rim of the whirlpool.
So pretty
They're never getting sucked in. But that's all.
So it's like church for them, really.
Yeah.
Just go there,
It's
do a
conscious
prayer,
church.
hopefully,
Yeah.
you know,
Conscious church.
forgive them for what you did and go back and do it again.
Right. Yeah, the ancestors are gonna come and help us and all that stuff. Ancestors ain't care about these people. Ancestors are abandoning these people. Like how's the forces of nature or the spiritual energies or whatever not working with you when you're a carbon-based being? You come from the universe and the universe not working with you, something's definitely wrong with you if the universe is not working with you. Something's wrong with your thinking. Something's wrong with the people who you're using as a foundation if the universe is looking at you like, forget these guys. Don't worry, you guys go march. Don't worry, you got Zulu Shabazz on your side. You don't need us. You don't need the ancestors if you got all these black leaders. You don't need them. Right? You definitely don't need them.
Now look at this situation. Here's a country that's supposed to model its presidency off of civility. Here's a nation that whenever a president come to pass or to office.
Just check country right there. Check country there too. Let's see, because he's talking about America, but now he's talking about a country. Because he keep talking about America, but then he says country, this country, whatever, but he's talking America. Never, only, like when he says United States of America, he's not talking about a country. United States of America is not a country, right? But he keeps saying that.
He's measured on his manners. He's measured on how he professionally conducts himself. Because he's the leader of the country. He's supposed to be the leader of the country, and he represents all of the citizens, and is supposed to represent them with at least a minimal degree of dignity. Look at this foul-mouthed, filthy bastard we have in office right now.
Right? Now remember the language. Look at this bastard we have in office.
That's what he said.
Bastard.
Bastard, yes.
Right? Who we have in office, just like with the birth certificate. It's my birth certificate. Or if it's yours, then that means you're down with the birth certificate fraud. All right, okay, so if he's saying we have office, and then he's attorney, and remember, he works for the court, not the people. No wonder he's saying we. Because he was just talking BS. That, nah, forget them. But now it's we. It was snakes of whatever first. Now it's we.
Can't say they.
As soon as he's saying we, you already know that he's playing himself, playing everybody else who's down with it. Right? Country?
Country, the portion of the Earth's surface occupied by an independent nation or people, or the inhabitants of such territory.
An independent nation, right? Doesn't say nothing about continents in there. You got your version ready?
Contra. Against
A little louder.
on the opposite side, indefinite, extended expanse of land, region, miles of open, to the land of a person's birth, residence, or citizenship, a political state or nation, or its territory. The people of a state or district, populace, jury, electorate, rural as distinguished from urban areas.
So again, nothing in there about continents or whatever. Right? Okay, so if somebody keeps calling a country a continent and they're supposed to be an attorney, doesn't that disqualify them? Doesn't that make them look like they're incompetent? Doesn't it prove their incompetence? Or are they really just selling out? Because if they're an attorney, I mean, they should know the difference between a country and a continent. They should know the difference between we, our, and their.
But realistically, what he is doing is he is turning one over to the state, right? Because he does work for the state.
Right.
He needs to turn one over, right?
Right.
So what he's doing is he's pretty much rounding the sheep up in the herd and leading them astray into
Yeah.
back to keep them in that jurisdiction, right? Right. So is pretty much somewhat doing his job, right?
Yeah.
You know, when he's speaking on those connotative.
And when you say doing his job, let's elaborate on doing his job. Because I know you said turnover, but for people who just aren't there.
Because he works with them, like he said. He said it's look who we have here as the president, right?
He's putting them all together.
Yeah,
all of us, like this is who we have.
Yeah, this is we have, and he's an attorney. An attorney, if you look what an attorney means, is to turn one over to the state after the thing and leave, right? So he realistically, the people that are that he has as an audience, they're listening to what he's saying, taking in what he's saying, and actually maybe they're following instructions, right? And he's an attorney for the state, works for the queen, right? They're all part of that bar, right? So he's literally turning them over. He's literally gathering them up
and turning them over to the people who he's saying is the snakes or the devil or the whatever.
So you could have saved 5 minutes by just opening a dictionary, looking up the word land, put on an arrowhead projector, and be like, it's an adjective. Stop calling yourself that.
Yeah.
It's an adjective.
And stuff will be done.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Everybody go home.
Go home. That's
Ain't nothing else for us. We just came here to let you know you're not black. All that black power and stuff like that. It's BS. Take it from me. I'm an attorney. I know the law. You know, America is not a country. It's a continent. Take it from me.
But then you can't do that because then in the end it'll come back to him. So that's the whole. But
remember, all these guys know. All these guys know the lesson of get your hand off my pocket. All of them know the lesson that you have to once you are working on their side, you start telling the truth. The guy's gonna be at your lecture talking about get your hand on my pocket, and you're gonna end up like certain people because if you're for truth, there's no way that you're gonna have bar card. You're gonna be down with these people. No way. If you're for truth. Right? If you're for truth, there's no way. There's no way that you're going to be willingly turning the people over under the guise of you're liberating them. Right?
He's your brother. His sickness is your sickness. Then he tells them, you remind me of my daughter. I got to get a book out to go through Donald Trump's prostitutes. I got to have a log book to log in his holes. She said, Donald Trump tells his prostitutes, you remind me of my daughter. Several witnesses to his private and filthy affairs say that when he gets ready to cheat and violate his wife, that he tells them, you remind me of my daughter. He's a sick man. He's a sadistic and a sick man that has visions of his own child and daughter in the bedroom. But I got news for you, white America. He's your brother. His sickness is your sickness. And if his sickness wasn't your sickness, he wouldn't be the damn president. How the hell did he become president? How the hell does he become president? If most of the white people in America don't back him over the cover or under the cover. Reparations.
Right? How did he become president?
He says, his sickness is your sickness.
Yeah.
You also called him your brother.
Right? I think he was talking to Europeans.
Yeah, he's a white.
Yeah, he was talking Europeans, right? But you know, he's making the case that even Europeans think this guy's effed up. How the hell did he become president? Because the Electoral College is who voted him in, not the people. That's how he became president. How about put that out there, lawyer guy? So the people could know that their vote doesn't count. That no matter how much vote you do, you have no say in the matter of who's going to be president or not. But he's leaving it up to them and making it look like this corrupt, quote unquote, government, they're so corrupt that they even brought in this guy that Europeans don't even like and they don't respect him and they think that he's doing bad stuff or whatever. And that's not really what the argument is. That's the argument for the passive, for the sheeple who don't know any better.
He mentions, it says, when I went deeper into that point, when it says his sickness is your sickness. He said, how do you become president?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much in a sense, he's saying, well, he's sick in the head mentally, right? And you guys are sick in the head mentally.
Yeah. You implying Europeans,
yeah.
But he's really talking to these people that are right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys that are here right now.
How did he become president?
Yeah.
His sickness is your sickness.
Right.
So if he's sick mentally, you say he has a mental problem, and he's saying all these things, and he's doing. How do you guys are the ones that went out and, you know, so his mental illness is your mental illness. Same way, it's reciprocal, right? But they're not seeing it that way. How he's saying it.
Yeah, yeah. Because again, they got on the blinders. You know what I mean? Either these blinders or these blinders, right? They have the blinders on. They're not seeing really what's going on. They're not hearing what's going on, right? Like we said, from the jump, should have been up there with the law dictionary or whatever like that, breaking down all this stuff there before you even start talking about a speech. Let's look up country. Let's look up certain things so that when I start talking, you guys know what the hell that I'm talking about, because, you know, the lawyer guy, you know, what Umar say, 300,000 to go to law school and stuff like that. So, you know, you go to law school and you put in some finance for law school, then, you know, you gotta know something. You're paying 300,000 to go to some law school, you probably should know something. And what you know, you should probably be relaying to your people if you're about truth and all that stuff, because we already know about the truth that's, you know, the undertone of law, right? Or the truth that's the undertone of legalese, we'll say, right? What you looking for? You want marker? You have to take off the cover.
Separation. I want to tell every Republican that hear this message, everybody that says that black people just want food stamps, all of you who are under your breath saying that black people have too many abortions, that they use up too many food stamps, that you say that the black people are the dredge or the burden on the American economy, and that you blame it on the niggas. All of you want to blame it on the niggas. Y'all all right with me? Black power? Give me a minute, let me rock this thing here, man. I'm talking to black and white out here. And you listen to me, white people, even if you disagree with me, analyze what I'm saying. Please analyze what I'm saying. This is a sickness in America. America's sick. White people in America, you're sick. And you're like a sicko psycho in the office. No manners. No.
Right? So the white people are sick. And they elected a sicko into the White House. Remember, he said right before that, make sure you guys listen to me what I'm saying.
Analyze.
Analyze what I'm saying.
So if he knows to analyze it, he must know what the term analyze means if he's saying analyze.
Right?
Right?
They put a sicko in the White House. They meaning the Europeans.
Still not getting.
So there was all these people voting about for. What are they arguing? What are they complaining about? They didn't get a chance to vote. We went down there. They had the bayonets on us, telling us you guys can't vote and all that stuff. Well, you can't vote because you're not a citizen. Like, what do you mean you want to vote? Vote for what? You're not part of this union. This is for European Christians only. Oh, you're Christian? Oh, you got a European name? All right, come on. We're going to write you in so that you can get some little voting privileges.
The thing is, he's saying, analyze what I'm saying, but people in the crowd, he's saying, they elected him to the White House. How come no one in the crowd is shouting out, what do you mean they? Who's they?
Yeah, who's they? No. Name the parties. Again, jurisdiction. The jurisdiction at this point is assumed. Just because he's not naming the parties. That's because he's making up, you know what I mean, snakes and continents and stuff that did something to people. That's assuming jurisdiction. Because there's no way that a continent did something to these people. And there's no way that he's an attorney and he doesn't know who it is. There's no way that he doesn't know. He has to know who violated his people.
He took an oath, right? Being an attorney, so he can't say that.
So, right. That's another level of why he talks how he talks and has to talk that way. Even if he's, let's say, you know, because he used to be NOI, left that because that was BS. Then you got the Black Panthers, new Black Panther Party, he was head of that, left that because he realized that was BS. Now he's doing his own thing, but it's still black. You might as well just stay joined up to the stuff that you left. But you ain't saying nothing different, not saying nothing new or whatever. He's still making the same argument that he was making, that if he was NOI or if he was new Black Panther Party, he's still talking the same. Right? Keeping the people in darkness.
Civility, no class. And damn it, and that's what the history of America is. The history of America is savage. The history of America is full of killing Indians. The history of America is killing the Lakota. The history of America is killing the Cherokee. The history of America is the trail of tears and driving the true owners of this land. Not 1 square inch of America is legal. All of it was stolen from the red man and stolen from the Indians. Not 1 square inch of this land.
Right? Stolen from the red man. Red man's supposed to be the Indian. Right? Now, he doesn't know. He's going to talk about Trail of Tears and all that stuff. You talk about Trail of Tears, then you know that those are Asiatics. There wasn't some red Indians or whatever, the Trail of Tears. That wasn't some Tonto or whoever like that. It was the Trail of Tears. How we know that? Because at the end of the Trail of Tears is Black Wall Street. I ain't see no red people in Black Wall Street.
Burn that down.
See no red people, no quote unquote Indians. Black Wall Street people look like us. So again, going back to this idea of the people not knowing, and then him knowing that the people don't know, it's easy to put them in the jurisdiction. You know what I mean? Just like we were saying with the sheep stuff and all that. You know, slaughterhouse is until they go into the thing and then the thing closes on their head or whatever, they realize that they're in the slaughterhouse. Before that, they're just, you know, doing their motions. You know, they're just doing their go along with the stuff of, well, that guy's going and that guy's going, and you know, we all look like sheep, so hey, we're just gonna go until they get the thing closed on them, and then they realize, then their eyes get big or whatever like that. They know something's wrong. Right? That's the only time they know. Right? Just go watch the slaughterhouse videos. It's a perfect representation of our people. Perfect representation that everything is good. Just like we tell people with this info. You know, everything was good with you know, the Moors and knowing about the Moors and all that stuff. As soon as the challenge comes up, oh no, they want to be Moors, you know, well nah, because you know, I don't want to have to deal with that and all that type of stuff. No, you should be dealing with that because you're dealing with Inquisition policies. You're dealing with people who have you know, literally, like you said, stole your stuff. We were no red people that they stole stuff from, and we were no Indians. We weren't Cherokees and Lakota and all this type of stuff they're talking about. We're Moors. He knows this.
And he knows, if he may mention that he started cropping over Ali's literature.
When you go back to his new Black Panther Party videos, he knows what's up. Right? Like we know he knows what's up. And for him to go sideways just because he's trying to make a name for himself now, right? He's gonna say whatever to get these people on board with his whatever. And again, they're gonna have Moors there who are gonna be back in that position, that fraudulent assumed jurisdiction position that he's imposing on people. That they're going with.
Was obtained legally. It started with theft. It started with murder. It started with lies and deceit. And now you got the biggest liar and deceiver in the White House. And I got news for you. Whoever occupies the White House, they're going to do the white man's bidding. A black man was here that is civilized, as they say. He's courteous. He's congenial. He's well-mannered. And he's launching drones out that building right there. He did everything that that white people wanted him to do. Just kept a smile for you all the time, and everything's happy no matter what's going on. I'm happy being Michelle. Everything's going well. American public going.
And again, for there's just a side note for people who are talking BS about the Moors know who that the white man's the devil and stuff like that or whatever. Moors also know that attorneys are the devil. Malik Zulu Shabazz is attorney. How come the black guys aren't talking about he got bar card and all that stuff to prove that he's a fraud, that he works for the white man? Has an oath to the Queen, has an oath to the Bar Association, which is a bunch of Europeans, but they're not going to say that that's working with the devil. They're going to say, oh, Moors got a fez on. Oh, yeah, we're working with the devil. And the Moors say Islam, and that's, you know, the Islam knows who because Islam works with the European to keep the black man in slavery and all this BS. But they're not going to acknowledge that the guy who they're backing, that they wasted their finance, what's gas right now? 139 or something like that out here. People going all the way over, traveling all the way over there, you know, plane companies that none of them own, bus companies that none of them own, sneaker companies that none of them own. They support all of that stuff, which is devil stuff.
I have a question.
Yeah.
We used to own, like, the first taxi services was owned by, like, Asiatics. So how did like, I don't know, how do Europeans become owners of the taxi?
Just like everything else, they took it.
Yeah. Once they take it over, they lock us out.
So you get a license, you go and get that, but now you're working in their jurisdiction.
And then once you're in their jurisdiction, now they own you. Now they can tell you, we don't want black guys driving because no taxis around here.
I'm trying to find out now because if we have to get like the stamp from the manufacturer now, we would be required to get like vehicles from, let's say, the Americas, like Ford, GM, right?
If to as far as
to get this,
to get the ownership or whatever.
Full ownership.
Yeah, you would have to go to manufacturer, but it wouldn't be Ford and them people. Yeah. It would have to be Asiatics.
Like in China or something.
Yeah, because once you get it here, you might not get the real ownership. You know, like if you go to the manufacturer, you might get it. If you go to the dealer, you ain't get it. Right? And again, it goes back to the same thing with the locking out. So because somebody who, quote unquote, black guy has to have the license or the whatever that comes from those people, right? He's already in a negative position. Even if he has the stuff, even if he has enough finance to buy whatever it is, he's not really owning it because his name is John or whatever. And he's thinking, oh yeah, well I got this now because I paid for it or whatever. Well, if money's gold and silver, you gave them fiat, you didn't pay either.
That's true.
But they also didn't get anything. Yeah. They just gave the stuff up for free. The game is crazy.
But we out here thinking we're pimps on the black guys.
Yeah.
Pimping.
You think we're doing something.
We've been pimped.
Yeah, when we've been pimped, still being pimped. Yeah. And then European is not even the head pimp. He's just getting the residual. He's not even getting the real. He's just getting whatever's left over. It's all these guys who are really pimping the people. Because they got these people by their mind. And then again, remember that, if you're dealing with this is an energy thing, then you know that that's what their pay is. The quote unquote popularity that they get from their people while they're pushing this ignorance. You know what I mean? And again, openly pushing this ignorance. Now the other part too is, if this is so for the liberation of the people and all that stuff, there shouldn't be some guy with a camera film this. And you should have been there. Yeah. Everybody should have been there. They're in DC. There should have been somebody there from some broadcasting, whatever. But why? Because there was some BS. Like, what are we putting this on the news? Like, for what? To do what? To promote what? They're back again? Yeah, again? 20 years later? You guys still marching up and down the place for rights that you're never going to get? With black laws that are never going to manifest?
Want to offend anybody? Irrigation. Let's just have a beer. Let's just have a beer. Let's have a beer and just call it even. Mr. Obama did all of those things that you're supposed to do when you're presidential. And when you're black, you gotta act that much better. Right? But what America show you? America show you she don't give a damn about civility. She don't give a damn about so-called class. America wants to know who's gonna crack down on black people. As congenial as Mr. Obama was, I'm sorry to tell you, when he got his orders in this house, he dropped more bombs. He dropped more bombs. He killed more people in foreign countries. He carried out more illegal acts. He wiretapped our phones. He violated our rights to privacy. He may have been all right before he got in this house, but once he got in there, he became a man that's doing their bidding. He just did it nicely and with a smile and looked real good doing it. I can't get up here and front like it all of a sudden changed. Black Power? Donald Trump. I ain't gonna be long, but I gotta drop this. Donald Trump has no character, but America lacks character. White America lacks character. White America lacks honesty. White America lacks truthfulness. White America lacks fairness. And Donald Trump is just a product of what America really is, because God is bringing us to a certain point where he don't want us to be deceived no more. He wants our enemy face to face. He don't want you deluded by no Obama or no Bill Clinton playing a saxophone. He wants you to know that your time of getting along up in here is over. The relationships that you have with America will stand no longer. White people are fighting for survival in their eyes, fighting for genetic survival. Where's Corey Long? I thought I saw him. Donald Trump called the black men who play football our brothers. He called them son of a bitches. He called them sons of bitches. Get a new Black Panther Party a black hand. Donald Trump called black men, sons of bitches. If you're a son of a bitch, as Donald Trump says, who is your mama?
If Asiatics created the European, who's their mom? So, you start going there, then you're gonna have the people who gave him his bar stuff, getting you phone calls and stuff like that, because you ain't talking that BS. Can't be talking about Yakub's story and all that type of stuff, because it destroys the whole game that they're trying to play. Trump called some people bitches or whatever like that, sons of bitches. So that means, he's disrespecting the black woman and all that stuff. Well, black woman's his mom too. Like Donald Trump's a son of a bitch too. If that's the case, not just Asiatics only. Europeans come from Asiatics. So what do you mean you're mad? What do you mean you're mad? And ain't none of these sisters out here black. So again, if you're not naming the party, are you really saying anything? Like, is he really saying something? If a bitch is a female dog and no human beings come from dogs or whatever, and you get mad, somebody says son of a bitch, then you're a dumbass. Dumb. If you go for that.
Stop that. Stop.
If you go for that. And this is a repetitive thing with these so-called black leaders. Never naming who the parties are, always, using the emotional thing, try to pull at people's little strings or whatever of emotion, get them riled up to yell black power, and then they're gonna leave this thing and then do nothing. They're gonna leave this and go right back to being docile, passive Negroes with European names but they got punks and stuff like that, and they got, you know, all the black Kemetic African clothes and all that stuff. They got all that, but they're not doing anything for their liberation. They always want somebody to do it. And the somebody who they always bring up is some guy, he had went to some European school or whatever, right? Which is supposed to be the devil. It's just like the people they're going to go march, you know, white man's the devil and stuff like that or whatever like that. But when their ass get pepper spray, they're gonna use white milk to clean their eyes off, not chocolate milk. And they'll realize that you guys are stupid. Then the world sees this, like Sis was saying, the world knows this. The world knows. KKK dress up like Moors to torment Moors. And then Moors are mad. Why don't you just get your own stuff back, start tormenting these people with your own stuff? How about you guys be the KKK now? Since you know that it's your stuff, I mean, you know, you're black and all that stuff. KKK got their stuff from black guys in Europe. They'll never go there. But as soon as they go there, then all of their stuff that they were believing for the past however long now crumbles and they have nothing. And they want to hold on to the nothing that they have instead of being who it is that they're supposed to be. Right?
Where I come from, you talk about my mama, that's some fighting words. Where I come from, a man don't let nobody talk about his mama like that. He's ready to throw down. Where's your toughness, black man? Where's your hard-nosedness, black man? Where's your anger, black man? Where's your militancy, black man? Donald Trump says black men are sons of bitches, and thereby he calls, pardon me, but I had to say it, he called a black woman a bitch as well. But let me tell this genetic recessive Caucasoid bastard something. The black woman is the mother of all living things. The black woman is the mother of the brown man. The black woman is the mother of the red man. The black woman is the mother of the yellow man. The black woman is the mother of all living things on the planet. It come from the black woman. Bible say, honor your mother, honor your father, if your days are to be long upon the land that God hath given thee.
Doesn't that sound like somebody's stuff?
Sounds like one of the acts. That sounds like one of the.
Honor thy mother and father, so your days could be on the earth land.
Exactly.
And then how you honor your mother and father is by having a nationality. You don't honor your mother and father by saying you're black, which is European, and that just came about yesterday. You honor your mother and father by going back to the mindset of your foremothers and forefathers.
It does not mention that part right there at the end.
Yeah, go back to the mindset. They're not going there because, you know, if you go there, then you give up the whole stuff. Because now you got to explain, what do you mean? Go back to the mindset of ancient foremothers and forefathers. Because remember, this is an individual who didn't go back to the foremothers and forefathers mindset if he's an attorney. Nobody who was Asiatic hired no lawyer. As far as our ancient foremothers and forefathers, they don't know the attorneys. They were the ones who were administering the law. They were the judges, and they were the people who had the schools teaching people about law. Ma'at held the scales of justice. So what do you mean you're not, like how is it that you're not the law? How do you have to go to somebody to be the law? If you're telling people, go back to your ancient forefathers who were the law. They didn't need to go get a license to be that. All they had to do was have their title. Again, you know what? Al, they, Ali. You're one of them titles, or now you're a lawman. You better go out there and then exercise law. No license needed. Right? No. Just to counteract that, now this is the language. This is how the people get trained by their so-called leaders, right? This is from Black Education TV. And then the host of Black Education TV is a sister, but she has Moorish turban on. And then listen to how she's talking.
TV, and I just want to do a quick update on the incident at Starbucks involving the two real estate agents. I am not surprised at all at their response. They've spoken out, and as usual, there's this very docile response to this whole situation. They don't see it as a color issue, they see it as a people issue. Our people always default to that because we don't want to call racism what it is. We want to kind of sound neutral, almost like we're a little bit speaking up for ourselves, but I'm going to remain neutral even though I'm the victim in this.
Right, and then remember, when we don't deal with race, that is really division, right? So the brothers who had the Starbucks issue, in their response, they were saying that it was no racism. People got problems out here in their mind that they need to fix. It wasn't some black guy, white guys, and all that stuff. Because when you listen to police chief even said, or police commissioner was saying that he's the one that made it a race thing. When the thing happened, and he put out his little stuff before a press conference, and then now after press conference, he's taking all the stuff on himself, that he's the one that created this energy that it was a racist thing. And then that was created because he didn't know about the policy that you can't go there and not buy something because he doesn't drink Starbucks. He doesn't even drink coffee.
So they say it's waiting for somebody, but you know.
Why go? Right? This is the police commissioner. He knew that he was in error. And he said, you know what, I was in error, that was my bad or whatever like that. This had nothing to do with the officers or whatever. When you watch the video, you can see that the officers were there and they were in a casual manner. They weren't whatever, they weren't being racist, they weren't doing this or that, trying to violate anybody. Right? So it has nothing to do with that. You know, people were bringing up stuff about, oh well, they said in the what do you call it, the dispatch video or whatever, that it's a domestic issue, or no, it was they used some key word or whatever relative to when they get certain calls, right? And then highwayman's gonna go to the call. And the commissioner was making the point that, no, the call that they made wasn't something where it's racist or whatever like that. That was a general call that anything that's happening on this level, this is the call that's made. Don't get your panties in a bunch that the police are violating somebody because a certain call came over the radio. So, all these guys came there and they were gonna violate these two guys. That's not what happened. It was just a general call. And then because it's over all the radios, when the call's made, guy goes to the thing. If these guys are there, because they're supposed to make a call that the stuff's done. 10 minutes pass by, ain't nothing happened. Some more guys are coming. That's just what it is. Nothing personal. Not these guys try to violate somebody or whatever like that. And then now, she's coming from the perspective that, they're making it a people issue now, so they're docile and they're passive. And no, they're trying to end racism. They're trying to say, forget the racism BS. That ain't what's going on. We're just, you know, lady who made the call in the first place, she has some issues mentally. Because how is she looking at it like, you know, these guys can't meet somebody in the store. They have to leave. Or, you know, they did something so wrong by coming into the store and sitting down or whatever like that. So she's mad that they can't do that because the store policy or whatever.
Why call? Why not just go address?
Right? Well, the address was, oh, sorry, you can't be here if you don't buy something. Or you can't use the washroom if you don't buy something. And they were like, okay, fine. And they were having a meeting in the Starbucks. So they just went and sat down and just waited for whoever they were waiting for.
Well, I seen the video to that. There's a European that he went to use the washroom.
Yeah.
And the lady said he couldn't use the washroom, but the European had never purchased something first.
Yeah.
When he went to use the washroom, she let him use the washroom.
Right.
So it became a whole big thing. And
why they let him and why
That's what my store
starts with one video and then all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because now there's another one with the LA Fitness.
Oh yeah, another thing now? So racist at LA Fitness now?
There's a couple, I think two just the same as well, where he says he has a membership there. He's working out, and either a female European or a male European cousin says, "Boy, you gotta leave." And they're being racist. See, so why do I have to leave? No, look, there's 3 police officers here for me, and then you know the highwaymen are like this, and they're not trying to be in the camera. I don't know if they're staging them or
same BS. Always. Yep. Distraction. Now let's see what this European has to say.
Across the country over an incident at a Starbucks last Thursday. A manager calling police asking that 2 black men be removed from the store for trespassing. The men had asked to use the restroom, but were told it was for customers only. Then they sat at a table waiting for a friend to arrive, but didn't make a purchase. The scene caught on camera by other customers.
What did they get called for? There were 2 black guys sitting here eating? Yes, I didn't know that. Well, what did they do? What did they do? Someone told me they did.
They didn't do anything. I saw the entire thing.
They didn't. What did they do?
The woman says.
The 2 men arrested and handcuffed. They weren't charged and eventually were released. Joining me now is Melissa DePino, an eyewitness. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us. You were in that Starbucks when these men were arrested?
I was in the Starbucks.
And tweeted out this video. So tell us what you saw leading up to this video.
Well, you know, I really just noticed something was happening when I saw 2 police officers come into the Starbucks and go over and talk to the men, and then a couple more officers came in, and then a couple more, and I think there were 6 or 8 of them. And sometime during that time, their friend, who you can see in the video, showed up. That's who they were meeting. And we were all just wondering, you know, why are all these policemen here? Why are they trying to make these men leave?
Now look who they have talking up for. Melissa DePino, right? Dark hair, dark eye lady. And then we already know that DE is DEY.
So is she an Asiatic, the woman talking?
She has dark hair and stuff like that. So we already know that she's European, but she got dark hair, dark eyes. So we already know that she was in the harem. Her ancestors have the blood of us in her. Right? She's the one speaking on behalf of these innocent black guys who, you know, went to a Starbucks, they got violated or whatever. Right?
They were just sitting there like everyone else. And, you know, we all sort of standing up and, you know, sort of talking to the people behind the counter and to the police officers and asking what was happening. And then they put them in handcuffs and took them out.
And they were, when the police arrived, I mean, how did the other customers react? Because there was no yelling, nothing, right? They were pretty calm.
there was no yelling, there was no aggression. I mean, people they were sitting there like anybody else would be sitting in a Starbucks at any time. And when the police officers were talking to them, there were no raised voices. I was sitting really close by, and you know, I couldn't hear exactly what they were saying because they were talking in a regular tone. So no, there was no disturbance.
So what do the other customers do? How they react?
Well, most of the other customers got up and started saying, what's, just like the man you see on the video, their friend, I mean, what's going on? Why are they asked to leave? You know, there was another woman who said, oh, I'm sitting here with my Gatorade and I've been here for 2 hours and nobody says anything to me. You know, I mentioned that I had been there in that store the day before, and I sat there for an hour. I didn't order anything. I was waiting for my son, and then I left.
You say, you've been saying that this doesn't happen to white people. That's what you say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can go wherever I want, do whatever I want. This would never happen to me. And, you know, the thing that I've been saying is that, you know, I know that this happens every day to Black and brown people in this country. And we just don't hear about it. We don't see it. I mean, it's out there, but people don't see it. They don't hear it. They don't believe it. And having this tweet go viral, over 10 million views, you know, I'm glad it's out there, and that however it got out there, I'm glad it's out there, and I'm glad it's sort of sparking conversation so that people who experience this can be the ones to talk about it.
And maybe something will happen unless it do more than talk, right? Some action to make a difference. Well, we.
Don Lemon. Donnie. So, based on all that, we know now that it's really denationalization. It's not a race issue. It's not a racism issue. It's not discrimination. It's not any of that stuff that our people are complaining about. It's our people refusing to accept the fact that there is a way out. It's been established that there's a way out of the BS that they're going through. But once they continue playing this game, that they're Negro, Black, colored, Africans, and you know, they're conscious of who they are, they know their ancestors, but they got European names and all that. You know, without Eller Bay or anything on the European name, you know that these people have lost their mind. Right? You know they lost it. All right. Any closing comments? Any people from yesterday? I want to get a couple interviews with yesterday for the little video that we're doing. So we'll do that after. Any questions, comments, anything whatsoever?
Yeah,
go ahead, Mark.
I can't remember though.
We'll just get, well, somebody sent some questions, so we'll just, if you remember, it comes to Carava Sun Bay. I stay near California. I'm in search of civic classes. I remember Brother Sabir Bey mentioning that we have one in Long Beach on Wednesday evenings on one of his videos. I've been independently studying for a long time now online, but I would love to meet and build with brothers and sisters in real life. That would be very much appreciated. I came across many YouTube videos, but I have always gone back to Brother Taj Tariq videos and Brother Sabir Bey's. I have received my nationality documents, but I've not sent it to all the listed locations. I've been on pause on my journey for a bit. Reach out to me, that would be great, etc. So as far as the classes, you can go to, I think it's the Sabir Bey Show. canaanlandguide.com to get in contact with Brother Sabir for those classes. You can also go to Moab Bay on YouTube. That's Brother Ramiel. They got their classes going on, and there's a body of Moors with Brother Ramiel Bay in or near Cali. Huh? No, Cali. Cali, yeah. Moab Bay. So you could just go to his YouTube page and message him, and he'll get you the info with regard to those classes out there. And with regard to coming across many videos and always going back to Brother Tashreeq Bay and all that, that's what it's about. Because there isn't anybody else to really use as a foundation to give you that momentum that you need in this information. Forget all the other stuff that you thought you knew. When you get into this info, you want to get with people who know what they're talking about and who give you some type of reference point as to where you should be going with this. But that was about it. And this is an old one from Brother Sheldon, but we just want to put this one out there again. I have to tell you, I went to the Papa Museum in New Zealand, and I came across the meaning of Maori, M-A-U-R-I, in the Maori language, M-A-O-R-I language. It means life force. So if these guys keep saying that more, M-O-O-R, M-A-U-R, M-O-R-O, or M-A-U-R-I came from Europeans and it means black, they have no idea what they are speaking about, and they are too focused on Europeans. And this goes with what Taj is saying about the civilized nations of the world. What I am thinking is with every nation that I visit that is not European, to see if they have a word in their language that sounds like more, and check what it means, and then do a presentation on that. So remember that even Europeans know that we're Moors. But when we go into other cultures, they got fezzes on, they got turbans on, they got things relative to our culture to prove to us that not only just the Europeans know or whatever, even other people know, right? And the fact that they know should let us know where we're at and with regard to what we're doing.
I just want to add to that.
Yeah, Mark.
Knowing, basically, I pulled up in front of the domicile, and then the highwayman, like a minute later, were knocking on my window. You know how they are asking for their BS stuff.
Yeah.
So, as protocol, I did what Moors do. Asking for their stuff, and then they're trying to get me to the subject matter. But anyways, I have my own fence in the back of the whip.
The conveyor, yeah.
Yeah, the conveyor.
Yeah.
Back in the back part. So I just grabbed it, put it on. They're like, "Oh, it's a Moors. It's a Moorish American."
Words getting out. Words getting out. Words getting out.
Oh, touch on that. Good job. Good job. And it was out in St. Catherine's, and then you have. I did a job, but anyway, long story short, the lady works for Peel Region. She was Peel Region Boston forces. I was doing the job at her house. It's in the basement, taking down the basement.
Yeah.
And I see all her hats, her jackets. But at first, my drywall guy said, "Already, I'm going to use the cop."
Yeah.
I was like, at first time you go to the house, it actually is real. I'm working at this cop's house, you know?
Yeah.
So she's talking about the first day. She's talking about with the daughter, the stepdaughter, her stepdaughter, her boyfriend, her boyfriend's stepdaughter.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, she's annoying. I'm gonna kill her one day or whatever. I'm like, oh, you don't want to do that, you know? You peace and love, you know?
Yeah.
But she's just like, yeah, you're right, you know, whatever, you know, you're right. But I never knew she was the false equals at first. I thought it was the guy. The guy that was at the house. I never knew which one it was. That was the false equals, right?
Yeah.
She's like thick though, you know, like she's like stocky, like she has muscle on.
Yeah, she's like a tank. She's a butch.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh my god. So the next day now, finishing up, and she's talking about this is around the Christmas stuff around the Europeans, and I was mentioning that yeah, we're doing something for the
you got it.
You know? Oh, okay. So we're talking with you know, I'm leaving. I'm about to finish her house. I'm not gonna see her no more. I'm done. You know? Yeah. So I'm just talking. You know, she's talking about how the PO region is doing their annual Christmas whatever. And I mentioned, I'm like, yeah, we Moors. I'm like, we're Moors American or whatever. No, how it happened was the boyfriend was arguing with her and something about they were getting all angry with each other. And I'm like, oh no, you know, like you gotta be like, you know, have principles, you know, like we Moors are supposed to live by like I'm a Moorish American, whatever. And she's like, oh really? She's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, really? She's like, I'm like, what do you want the Moors? She's like, I know some stuff. You know, she's like, I know some stuff. She's like, why don't you come to the Christmas? Why don't you come to the Christmas? You guys come to the Christmas convention thing that the Peel Regional Police have.
Poison all the more.
But it's kind of tricky. That's another brother. That's not a proclaim or self-conscious more. I was working there, and it was kind of tricky. Not like he had any charges, but you know, he's a brother, so his first instinct is, oh, it's a boydom, you know, like you know,
yeah, of course.
The brother didn't want to come back and work with me out there.
Yeah, because it's a popo.
Yeah, she lives in Benbrook, but she works out together. You know, don't travel the distance. You know, you don't know who is who. You don't know.
Yeah.
Good experiences. You know,
I'm gonna start wearing my vest too.
Yeah, why not, yo?
They look cute.
Why not? Why not? This is birthrights, not club rights. This is not club rights. Yeah, the white with the gold tassel. Yeah.
I want this one.
Yeah.
See, I need to talk to you about that one right there.
I think you made it.
For the toiling, you know, I need something that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right when I saw it, this gave him like, oh, I'm like, that's like Koofy said.
Yeah. Well, this one is just put it out there. Sister Miriam Bay. She's selling them for 20 notes. You can get custom color, custom whatever like that. You know what I mean? So her email is Empress Miriam MaryamBay @gmail.com. EmpressMiriam.bay@gmail.com. And she deals with her crochet Moorish apparel. You could message her, see if she's on the other social media stuff. But yeah, so I know. Hey, you might as well, you know. Right? Yeah.
I want that turban. This picture has right there with the feather.
Well,
the big one?
I want that, like something like that.
Yeah. The 50 look alike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like the prophet that we have.
Yeah.
Pictures. Like, I want to be flashing. Like,
Yeah. Go all out with it.
Just like right there in that picture.
Yeah.
Give me one like that. I'm good.
Look your best. Look your best. Nice. Ayo, then you remember that question or you still can't remember? So Islam Moors, peace and love, peace to the Moors in the chat. You know, give thanks for your time, energy, and you know what I mean.
keep getting that not turn the gap burner.
Yeah, when that turned the gap burner, got a shot out here.
One question.
Yeah.
You see my proclamation now? Am I supposed to get it sealed? Like, I got it sealed by Amari and, no, I got it sealed by Osiris and Rat.
Oh, you got a witness.
Witness, but
Yeah.
am I supposed to get a seal?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have that.
Oh, yeah.
So if I get that now, that's when I photocopy it.
Yeah. Once you get it sealed, once you get it sealed, then you can photocopy it, and then you. Yeah, it's all good.
I may need to. Is Mario gonna be here next Sunday?
For more in like 3 months. Right here Fridays, yeah.
Okay, so what time would
7:30?
7:30?
Yeah,
Okay.
7:30. Yeah. But if you have his contact, just firm up with him. Because last week he was late and stuff like that. And Moore's going nuts. All right, Morris, so we'll close out. Give thanks, and if any Moore's want to get on camera, I'll be here for a couple of minutes after, so we can just get your ideas on yesterday. So we'll close out. Peace and love. Peace and love to all Morris. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Lord, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night and by day, through his holy prophet, noble Juali, Islam. Islam, Morris, peace and love.